All right, guys, what's up? It's your boy Icarus Gray, and I'm back with another gray area manga discussion. And this time around, I wanted to do a manga entitled Dr. Stone, which is written by Inagaki Riichiro, which, for those of you who read manga, would know him for Ice Shield 21. But for those of you who don't, I'm going to start by asking a question. What if you woke up a million years from now? All right. That's all I'm giving you. That's my elevator pitch for Dr. Stone is essentially kind of what happens is where you start. So just think Horizon Dawn or Horizon Zero Dawn for those who play games, or just any movie where you ended up after the world has kind of fallen, or trying to think of the post-apocalyptic world, essentially. Um, so I'm going to tell you why you should read it. I want to start with the fact that it's very, very new. And that's a difficult thing to find in manga because there are a lot that are long running and long standing that don't have as many entry points for you to kind of like get your feet wet or get something that you might find interesting, and learn all of the different aspects that Japanese culture kind of has to bring in their version of comics, which is kind of what manga is. But Dr. Stone, I find interesting for a lot of really, really good reasons. It's a simple yet complicated premise, in the sense that I said, like, the world has been reclaimed by nature. But the mystery involved is, how did this happen? There was a excuse me. There was a world-ending event of sorts, but we don't know who caused it, and we don't know why it happened, and we also don't really know how long um, people have been um, gone, so to speak. So to kind of get right into it, there are four main characters right now. Three of which are our protagonists, and one is our antagonist. I'm going to talk about each of the protagonists first. The first protagonist is the scientist Senku, and he is of genius level intellect. So you might think of him kind of like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory, but not as off-putting. um, but he is an amazing scientist. Now, all of the characters are high school age, because this is a shonen manga, and all shonen manga are normally marketed towards teenage boys. Therefore, you give them a protagonist who kind of embodies a lot of relatable qualities. And Senku embodies intelligence and like a certain arrogance, but there's a thirst for knowledge is what he embodies. His friend Kaiju is the complete opposite. He is more of the goofball, um, but he has a pure heart. Like, he's extremely strong. Is that friend that will help you lift up a couch, who does things honorably, by the book, no matter if he has a chance or not. And then there is not Sukasa, Yuzuhira, and that is the love interest slash friend, or to this trio of friends, and they are really, really cool. And we'll get to Sukasa a little bit later because we kind of have to break down at least the initial parts of the story first. But to give a simple synopsis of his character, he is a pretty intelligent but incredibly intimidating and strong high schooler. He's the guy who's like the strongest high schooler, as they call him in the story. So let's build from there. So let's, like I said, let's start with how the manga kicks off. So it kicks off with Taiju wanting to confess his love to Yuzahiro. And he goes to Senku to tell him that he's going to do it today. He's been dreaming about this day for 5 years, 5 long years. We all know what the high school days were like, and wanting to kind of, confess your love to somebody. And maybe it took a while longer than what you expected. So that's typically what he's kind of going through. Senku offers him a potion of sorts. He says this will increase your pheromones by 10 million. You'll have a 10 million chance to succeed in your confession, which is also another typical thing of Japanese manga and in general, animes in general, is school life somewhere along the lines involves confessions. And you find somebody and you meet them after school, at lunch, or before school. You confess your love and just say, "Will you date me, senpai? Notice me, senpai," so on and so forth. And so this is a typical occurrence in manga that you'll kind of see, but it's a very endearing kind of thing. But Senku offers him the potion. He turns it down because, like I said, he's very morally straightforward. He doesn't take the shortcut and doesn't like to take the short route. And Senku knew he was going to do this because he didn't have a potion for him. He just had something that he was already working on. But it's just one of those things where he kind of tests his moral code. So Taiju goes to Yuzahiro at the cherry blossom tree and is about to confess his love to her. And as he does this, there's just smoke that comes from everywhere and around everywhere. He's not knowing kind of what it was, but he just goes into action and goes into protecting Yuzahiro. And he was just about to make his confession. When he goes to do this, everything turns to stone. And when he turns to stone, he has this thought in his mind that he cannot, because he still has consciousness. And he says to himself, "I can't lose. I have to think about something because I feel like if I stop thinking, that'll be the end of me." So he focuses hard on the fact that he still wants to confess to Yuzahiro. And this goes on for about 100,000 years, or a substantial amount of time, to where the world is now again reclaimed by nature. He wakes up, or he breaks out of his stone, doesn't know how he's broken out of his stone, and he finds a note that was left to him by Senku. He goes and he finds Senku, who has also been broken out, but he was broken out of the stone before him. And it's kind of made himself like a makeshift lab to kind of figure these things out. Because like I said, he's of genius intellect, and he kind of did a lot of things a different way. And so with this being the case, what they end up doing is they kind of like, well, now that I have you for strength, I can kind of do some different things. My shelter can be better. So he goes to send them to build the shelter, and they get set up in a very standard way with the resources that are available to them in the area. He has Taiju picking up berries and things like this. And they're also having conversations about what happened. Senku, to keep his mind alive, counted. He counted literally for this long amount of time, which is a feat amongst itself. But you can tell by the way he's extremely cerebral in these things that's kind of why he did that, and what kept him going over this long amount of time, long span of years. So after he does this, and they're like, all right, we need to go out and get some more food. So they go out, and they're about to be attacked by a lion. Because again, like I said, nature's reclaimed everything. So they are seemingly the first humans back and trying to figure all this stuff out. So they are about to get attacked, and the Senku is quick on his feet to think, well, we need help really quickly. And they see Tsukasa, who they use the water on. He breaks out, he kills the lions. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now we have uh, unparalleled fighting prowess, we should be good. So now, Taiju wants to release or break Yuzahira out of her stone, and so they go and do that. But Senku has a feeling about Tsukasa. Tsukasa begins to kind of speak to them, and you can kind of see that his ideals are a little bit different. Senku wants to revive the whole world. You know, he's a scientist. That's, you know, why did this happen? I want, you know, the world has to kind of get back to where it was, and that's his ultimate goal. Taiju's ultimate goal is, at this point, because he's so simple, is confess to Yuzahira. And Tsukasa's ultimate goal, as they come to find out, is control, in the sense that now that everybody's stoned, I don't have to revive older people or people that I don't feel are beneficial to me. And so he ends up breaking someone's stone, which, you know, is pretty much murder. You know, it's not like bloody and all this other stuff, but by all accounts, it's murder. So this is when Senku realizes, oh crap, and neither one of us is strong enough to fight him. Like, I'm a scientist. He doesn't fight. And Taiju doesn't have that kind of combat prowess. Like, he's strong, but like I said, he's a simpleton in mind in that way. And now, on top of everything, Taiju has something in protecting Yuzahira because, like, you know, this guy's crazy. So that's the general premise of this world. Is now it's a race to get away from him, which they ultimately end up doing about 6 or 7 chapters in, which is kind of like issues. So whenever I say chapters, I'm speaking of issues of manga strips. The first issue is about 72. Let me check for you guys really quickly. Is about, let me see, is 48 pages. So they normally do that when they bring out a new manga that goes about 48 pages or 50 or something like that, to kind of give you as much information as they can to get you to buy into the new series. So yeah. So in about 6 or 7 chapters in, they're already formulating a plan on how to get away from them. And the manga is only 18 issues or chapters in so far, which is why I wanted to introduce this manga to you guys, because I think it's something that you'll find really, really enjoyable. There's a lot of endearing characters, a lot of people that you'll meet, a lot of progression. So you'll see like different steps that they're taking forward, and it can go so many different ways, because as an accelerated time of trying to figure out, well, how do we get back to quote unquote modern age? And so you have to find all of the different things and all of the different pieces and textile and the Industrial Revolution, so on and so forth. A lot of different ways that this manga can go, and a lot of different time periods and time forwarding periods, or I'm sure there's a better word for all this. I'm trying to think of it. Modernizations that the manga can go through. So that's kind of what ends up happening. That's just the basic synopsis. You have displaced youth, high schoolers, in a dystopian world, or a dystopian Japan at this point, trying to get back to modern style and solve the mystery of how did all of this happen. It's incredibly interesting. I know you guys enjoy it. I really want to talk about it with you in the comments. If you go check it out, tell me what you think of it. If you didn't check it out, but you want to hear more or figure out something else that could possibly be interesting for you, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Like the video down here. Follow me on all of the social media things, and we'll talk about anime and manga. And I will continue to make more videos for you guys about places that you can start. I'm also going to make videos for those of you who are already watching anime and manga, and we'll talk about those too. But anyway, until next time, I bid you guys adieu. Peace.